In this problem, our domain is restricted by the radical, or square root in this case. So what we're going to do to find our domain is we're going to take the number that's under the radical, 3x minus 12, and we're going to set it greater than or equal to 0, because whatever the number is here under the radical has to be either a positive number or it has to be 0. So this symbol greater than or equal to indicates that it's bigger than or equal to 0. So in this case, we're going to solve for x, so we move our 12 over, add 12 to both sides, and divide both sides by 3, so x is greater than or equal to 4. So this means for interval notation, we would start at the number 4, so use a bracket, and we would go to all the numbers that are larger than 4, because it says greater than or equal to 4, so 4 to infinity. The next problem that you asked about was finding the domain of a fraction where the denominator needs to be factored. So what we would do is we would look at the denominator. For the domain, the denominator is not allowed to be the number 0, so we say x squared minus x minus 6 cannot be the number 0. We would factor the denominator, x minus 3, x plus 2. And then we would set each factor with the inequality not equal to 0 and say that x cannot be the number 3, x cannot be the number negative 2. Now for interval notation, we're going to look at every single answer from negative infinity to infinity, excluding these two numbers that we found. So excluding these two numbers, we're going to do everything from negative infinity, I'm going to leave a big space, and go on to positive infinity, but in between we're going to throw out two numbers, starting with the smallest number. So the smallest number is negative 2, so starting with negative 2, we're going to throw that number out of the domain, so we go from negative infinity to negative 2, then a union to unite our answers, pick back up again on the other side of negative 2. Then we go to the next number, which is 3, unite our answers, and go from 3 to infinity. So this would be our interval notation for the domain of this equation where there is a trinomial that we factored in the denominator.